Korg Volca beats. Korg Volca beats. Korg Volca beats is let me just cut to the chase. It is probably my least favorite Volca of all the Volcas. I mean, someone has to be the weakest link. I want it to be the best. And it's probably my least favorite. However, every time I say that, my boy Corso always argues with me and says, no, man, he is raw. He likes it. He agrees that the snare is weak or whatever, but, you know, and it's not that it's trash. The Volca Beats itself is not trash. It is definitely nice. However, I do think it is the weakest Volca. And the thing that my disdain for the snare is so high that it really just makes, you know, me want to just hate on it. So let me just go straight to that. You've all heard it before. The snare is whack. Well, let's dive into this snare. Before we get into the Volca beat itself, I'm going to just go straight to the juggler, because this is what I absolutely cannot stand. That's a snare, to be honest with you. Now, we're going to go through and tweak it, but let me turn this up some. Okay, so we have the snappy all the way open. All the way to the right is snap. We have pitch all the way to the left. And we have decay all the way to the left. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the decay. The decay, I just went from 0 to 100. Let me also say the stutter is all the way to the left and the def is all the way to the left. I'm sorry, it was not all the way. Now it's all the way to the left with the stutter, the time, and the def. This will also affect the sound. So before it was probably just... Here's another problem with the Volca. There's no feedback. I'm turning the stutter right now on time, and I can't tell you anything because it just says live. So there's no feedback to say what number I'm at in the stutter, and the same thing with the depth. This is a problem if you're trying to set something specifically. You have to just kind of find it yourself as to... That's the sound. That's kind of the sound we just had previously. But now let's just start with the bass. So now we got the decay all the way open. I'm sorry, the decay all the way to the left, pitch all the way to the left, and the snappy, let's go snappy all the way to the left. Everything to the left, time and depth. Let's see what this snare sounds like. So again, that is snap to the left, pitch and decay, everything to the left, the time and the depth. All right, it's kind of like that snare sounds kind of, I don't know, Tommy, like it's a tom in there a little bit, but whatever. So now I'm going up with the time on the stutter. Okay, now when I turn the time right now, it does not affect the sound at all. However, when I mess with the depth, you can hear the sound change. hear it like a triple tap. So depending on how you set this thing, now it's coming across like kind of kickish. That's the snare. That's like a guitar pluck almost. That's not a snare, but that's an interesting sound. That's actually a cool sound. I mean, I was hating the fact on the snare, but now that I'm doing this, that's actually a cool sound. Not a snare. All right, let's go ahead with the time a little more. So the depth is all the way open. Everything else is fully to the left. The snap, the pitch, and the decay, and we're just playing with the time now. Kick tom. That's actually a pretty cool sound though. That's a tom. Okay, yeah, that's a tom sound to me. But anyways, so that's with the snap and pitch and decay all the way to the left, and these are the tones that you get out of the stutter. Okay, so now let's do the snappiness to see what happens when we. Okay, now we're getting to more of a snare. Oops. That right there, to me, that is trash. Like, there's nothing I can do with that. I mean, if you like that, that's oh, that's terrible. I really don't like that. So now the snap is all the way up, pitch is all the way to the left, decay is all the way to the left, the time and the depth is all the way to the left. So this is just the snappiness. So okay, the time by itself doesn't affect the sound, but the depth does. So depth first. I actually kind of like that better, but that's still a pretty weak fucking snare. I mean, there are little spots in here that I kind of like, cause I like the noise. Sounds dirty. Here, look, let me say this. I dislike a lot of the tones the snare makes. However, the functionality of how you can tweak is not as bad as the sound it's actually making. If that makes sense. Because you can... I just wish that sounded better, but I like how that stutter is. I mean, that's dope. I'm just not a fan of how it... So let's go back on the snappiness. What happened? So yeah, that's just a tom. So to get more of a snare, you gotta have the snap on. Let's play with the pitch. Pitch is just the pitch. So that's That's why I hate on the snare, because that's the range of it. That's it. We have fully explored the snare. So if you don't like that, you short. Okay, so the pitch just totally changes the note that you need. That's it. It doesn't really change the sound of the snare. So really we have the snap, which gives us the snare, and this time and stutter. I mean, again, you just don't have a lot of range for changing that snare sound. Now listen to that kick next to this snare. Now do you... Oh, boy. Because I was about to defend the snare when you're just playing the snare by itself. Like, okay, that's a nice snare. That snare ain't bad. But when you play the kick to this with the snare, really? Man, you gonna get laughed at, man. You show up on the scene with a... What's that? What's up with that little weak ass snare, man? What is that? Oh, boy, man. Now, the hats? Oh, my God. Let's play what I got going on right here. Let's take a listen. Hey! Hey! Okay, let me stop. The beats is nice, all right. Maybe I was hating on it. It is nice. But the snare, what am I gonna do with this, man? That's... So here's what I do. What I'll do is I'll take the snare and the clap together to create a snare sound. So let's go ahead and clear all, and let's get a tempo going. And let me, I'm always playing. I like, making gangster beats, if you will. I like that kind of tempo. Well, let me have some fun here, because I know a lot of people that view this, you guys like that house music, techno and what have you, and I actually love making that stuff. So let me go ahead and play along with something like that. Step record, perhaps. Kick. And see, the stutter applies to... Oh, wait a minute. Right now I have it on global stutter. So let me take it off that. Okay. The stutter and the global stutter. The stutter is definitely a dope feature of the beats. Damn, man. Let me turn the kick down, because you try to play it alongside this oh, that's terrible. You gotta turn the kick down just to play it with the snare, because the snare is, I mean, I don't know, man. You hear it, you be the judge. The snare just doesn't go with it, with nothing else on here. Look, the reason why you like the beats is because of the stutter. I'm telling you now. The stutter, the hi-hats. Let's play with the hi-hats some. Interesting. Alright, I just did a function. I have no idea what I just did. That cleared everything? Interesting. Look, this is the, make no mistakes about it. The reason why you buy this is because of the stutter. And I mean, I turned the kick down, but hear that. That's dope. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yo, the beats is tight. Now, it's just that snare, man. I mean, the snare in comparison to the other sounds, you be the judge. Hey, if it works for you, man, I mean, it's not like it's not a dope Volca. It is a dope Volca. I still say it's the weakest link. Somebody got to be the weakest link. It's just the way it is. Someone has to be the weakest link. I personally think it's the beats because of that snare. That snare is just, it is what it is. But hey, I think I'm done my time, people. I've shown you the vocal beats, really highlighting the snare and my disdain for it. However, you heard how dope it is. It's a dope Volca. The other sounds on here are pretty good. I'm really a fan of the kick and the hats. The clap is decent. The tom is pretty nice. The crash really is the functionality and how you can play with the stutter is really the thing that makes me get excited about playing with this instrument and having fun with it. So the vocal beats, I hope you enjoy this. Fade to black.